There's always a reason why something shouldn't be done.
At the end of the day, there are some principles that are immutable. If you want to build anything that is lasting, you must have to pay your dues.
I want particularly young people to realize that it is very normal for you to be confused as to what you want to do in life. I could tell you, my allowance as a year one student for a month was what some guys I know who used to drink beer at the sitting. Talking about challenges, at the time I was 14 years, I lost my father. I remember at some point I stayed somewhere. It was the liaison office. I squatted with someone. I also squatted with someone in Nigeria. There is this inferiority complex that some people have. You feel because you don't have a father who is rich, or you don't come from a rich family, that you are at a disadvantage. No, that's a fat lie. I tell young people, it's about opening up yourself to be used. Let me use that word. You shouldn't be in the university and you don't know where this milk will come from. But it is your reality. You have to make a fight, because it's either you swim or you drown.
Welcome to the Journey with MOO, where we share real stories, real lessons, real growth that defines resilience, grit, dedication, and strategies that goes into every successful journey. Our mission is very simple: to help emerging talent walk their career path smarter, faster, with clarity and confidence. Our today's story is very interesting, educating, and very, very inspiring. It can be the missing piece you have been searching for a very long time. And it can as well be a playbook that will help you navigate life smarter, faster, with clarity and confidence. Let's go over to the story. No, hold on. Before we do that, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe to this channel, engage, and share this story to reach more people so that together we can build a great world. Now, we can go. We want you to run us through your early life, where you were born, how you grew up, your primary, secondary, and tertiary education.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. As you have mentioned, my name is Nonso Azih. I'm a legal practitioner. I was born in the early 80s at a place called a sleepy, quiet, and progressive town called Nigerian and Calago. It's very spectacular in that Nigerian and Calago was where we had, or we still have, at least when you go there, you can still see the vestiges of the first cement company in Nigeria, which was established in 1950s. So I was born at Nigerian Cement Company, the environment or community in Nkalago. That was the old Anambra state, but now currently under Ebonyi state. Nkalago is blessed with a limitless deposit of limestone. So that was what informed the location of the first cement company in Nigeria at that community. That was where I was born in the early 80s. So I attended a beautiful school called Nigerian Primary School in the middle 80s. And on my secondary school, I went to a school called Model Comprehensive Secondary School, still within the Nigerian community. And subsequent to that, I got admitted to the prestigious University of Nigeria, where I studied law and for 5 years, and then proceeded to Nigerian Law School, Lagos campus here. I came to law school in 2005, October 2005, and qualified as a lawyer in November. I finished my exam in August 2006, but I got called to the bar in November 2006 as a solicitor and advocate of the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
That's awesome. We want to know, what were some of the challenges you faced growing up, and how did they shape your character, your career, and drive for success?
Okay, so I was born in into a polygamous family. My father married 4 wives. My mother was number 3. My mother gave birth to 9 children, 5 girls and 4 boys. So out of the 9 children, I was number 8. I have a younger brother who is also a lawyer. He's here in Lagos, practicing as a successful lawyer. So that tells you naturally that growing up, there were many mouths to feed. And my father was a businessman. And I also want to tell you that by the time I was born, my father was already, I think, about 60 years. I think that should give you some background and all that. My mother was quite younger than my father, and so my father was a victim of the after the war event. People who were relatively wealthy before the war, but after the war, they lost most of the things and they struggled, and they never really went back to what they were before the war. So, but I thank God I had a hardworking mother. My mother was a professional tailor who made very good clothes to the highest standard. So, I've been told there were many mouths to feed. I think my saving grace was my parents, who believed so much in education, because I saw other kids who were even in better position, who chose to maybe not go to school or maybe do some other things, or they were not serious with school. So I think I give all credit to my mother, and especially, who believed in education. Then, talking about challenges, at the time I was 14 years, I lost my father. My father died when I was 14 years, and I just finished I remember we just wrote junior WAEC, and I was so eager for him to see my result, because at some point he felt that I was not reading hard enough. He was this kind of man that wants you to possibly read all night, and that was not my style, because some of the people he compared me with, some of my classmates, he would say, look at this man. In fact, I'll tell you a story. The day he asked me to accompany him to see someone down the street, but he actually wanted me to see one of my classmates reading in the evening. The guy was so used to reading all through the night and all that. But in school, I knew the guy does not see my back. He was nowhere near me in school. So I could read what I want, I'm done for the day. So I lost my father at the age of 14. By the time my junior WAEC result came, which I think I was the 3rd best student in my school, he was already gone. That broke my heart, and I wanted to show him that I did well. So then I had my mother to train me. So it was a big challenge. And I was not the only one who was in school. I have other ones who were in school. So if I wasn't determined to become something in life, and if I didn't have the support of my mother, of course, that was the time to drop out. I had friends who dropped out, maybe because their father died or things became tough. But I didn't give up. I completed my secondary school, and then got immediately after secondary school, while I was waiting for my WAEC result, I got a casual work at the cement company. Then there was opportunity for people to work, casual work. So I was employed initially as a casual worker in the production department. All the processes of cement production, I knew them. I saw engineers from the crusher to the clinker to where the cement is bagged. So I tell you what, they say, oh no, this guy is smart. Let's send him to procurement, what we call purchasing department those days. I was sent to purchasing department, where they are responsible to buy equipment, lubricants, and other things for the company. So immediately my JAMB result came out at WAEC. Luckily enough, I was admitted to study law at University of Nigeria. And again, the challenge was that when I was going to the university, there was no money that was earmarked to say, okay, this is the money you have to use to go to university. There were many mouths to feed. My mother was a hardworking woman. So I took up the challenge, went to university. You have to believe in yourself, first of all. And again, there is this inferiority complex that some people have. You feel because you don't have a father who is rich, or you don't come from a rich family, that you are at a disadvantage. No, that's a fat lie. And I will tell you, it could give you some advantage, that maybe you could get better textbooks, you could have money to get a good space in school where you reach, because you need to actually read in a comfortable space. But we have some challenges because of the way Nigeria is fashioned. Otherwise, if education is affordable and everybody should have the same access to education. So I tell you, in school, I knew that I was coming from a humble background, because my mother would always tell me, know where you come from. And my father was a strict disciplinarian who never tolerated nonsense. So year one, I could tell you my allowance as a year one student for a month was some of my friends or some guys I know who used to drink beer at a sitting. What I spend in a month is what they would spend at a bar in a sitting. But I never joined them. Not because they were doing anything bad. They had the parents who could give them that money. But I knew that I don't have that. So I have to keep my own and focus on buying my bread, coke, and okpa and all those things to survive. Then you also have to be creative. I mean, the records are there. There's this guy called Engineer Marco. We grew up together. By the time I was in school, he was already an engineer. He had contracts to build houses and paint houses. So when I finished classes at the University of Nigerian campus, I would join him to paint houses in Enugu. The records are still there. Then I also took up part-time teaching at a place they call Ogba Lesson. If you know Enugu or if you ask anybody who grew up in Enugu, Ogba Lesson was in those days was like the best JAMB and WAEC preparatory center. He selects teachers, and how he selects the teachers is that if you are teaching economics or government, he will ask you to come and teach before the students. Maybe 5 persons will teach. The students will pick who they like. So I was teaching literature and government with them. So when I finish lectures, I go down there. Then it was 350 naira per hour. So by the time I do 2 or 3 hours, I have about 1,000 something, and that was big money. Then I come back. So in fact, surprisingly, our eldest sister, who was also supporting my education then, one of the key sponsors I had then, she didn't see me for like 2-3 months to come and collect money from her as I used to do. So she called me and said, I hope you've not joined the Yahoo Boys and all that. I told her I know that I am doing something, to help myself. So you will face temptation in school. I mean, bad boys will approach you to join maybe one cult or the other. But when you remember where you come from, you try to resist some of those tendencies. And, as they say, cut your coat according to your cloth and all that. So, and for challenges, there were many. But the bottom line, I think what saved me was that I kind of envisioned what the future would look like. That if I tarry and persist in my diligence, there were challenges. I mean, and those challenges, you have to be careful. I don't have to paint it. The challenges, if you're not careful, can actually make you derail, and it can actually affect your education in that you may not have all the time to read as much as you can. So it's not an ideal situation. We have to realize that you shouldn't be in the university and you don't know where your next meal will come from. But it is your reality. So if I was bemoaning my reality, that how can someone be studying law and he doesn't know where his next meal will come from, I'll give up. Possibly drop out of school. Not like those who drop out of school will not become something, but if you have a vision of where God is taking you, because the most dangerous thing is to, let's say, if I dropped out as a lawyer and start doing business, there will still be this feeling, maybe when you see your classmates who became lawyers. Because the question I always ask people is that nothing stops you from becoming a businessman after you have become a lawyer. So you can have it all. The legal skill you have acquired, you will use it to help the community. People always think that going to school is just for your own benefit. I can't imagine me not being a lawyer, because I think my being a lawyer has benefited the society more than it has benefited me. And I can boldly say that. You have the paraphernalia, you have the wherewithal to help people who are oppressed. You have the wherewithal to advise young people on where to head. You understand what life is all about, and you're able to guide people. Everybody must not become a businessman and all that. So as a professional, you contribute to society. So it's not just about you to answer barrister or lawyer and brag about it, but what influence will you bring to bear as a lawyer, as a businessman? So whatever you want to do, you have to do it well. If you are choosing to be a businessman, possibly I will also make impact. My money will not just be for me to brag about and all that, but also, affect life. So in summary, many challenges. You are reading and you don't know, you're not sure of where your next meal is going to come from. But at the end of the day, these challenges were what spurred us on, and we never felt inferior. You had a mix of those who their father are stupendously rich. Some their father were ex-governors, ministers in your class. So when you go there, you find out that all human beings were created equal by God. Economic skills and social status may make it seem as if we're not equal. But we're all human beings, and nobody can take away what you have upstairs. So you have to be able to blend and not begin to bemoan your fate. So that when it comes to class, if you want to answer a question, you raise your hand boldly and answer a question and make a mark, so that those people who you think are better than you based on social status will also have some respect for you, because education tends to bring everybody at par. So I mean, that's what I can say for now. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Trent Israel. What are some of the challenges you face while in law school, and how did the challenges contribute to your career development?
Interesting. In fact, the Lagos aspect of my life is actually something I love sharing. You know, before 2005 October, when I came to law school, I think I had only been to Lagos once. And it was interesting what brought me to Lagos before then. It was when I was in third year. We had this long strike, 6-month strike. I got fed up. I've done side jobs. First month, second month, third month. I told my mother, I want to drop out of school. How can someone be at home for 6 months or for 3 months or now 4 months? No ASU strike and all that. So I wasn't serious deep down me. So a friend of mine now told me that was one man in Lagos, one business mogul who was looking for a PA. Out of idleness, I took, I think it was a night bus or something to come to Lagos. Well, CMS, to interview, for the man to interview me. So he said, oh, you're a bright young man. He now asked me, how old are you? When I told him, he said, you're so smart for your age, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I should give you this job. You should go back to school. Deep down me, I didn't want to take the job. I just wanted to, even if it's to work 2 months with him while the strike was on. I think that was my first time. I went back to the east that same day with night bus. But I came with the morning bus and I entered night bus to the east, So I changed my mind. But I remember what I told my mom. My mother told me, okay, that is your decision. If you carry water and carry wine, you know which one is heavier. That's all she said. So when I came to Lagos in 2005 October, fresh to Lagos, I've only been to Lagos once. I remember I took ABC transport with my blue traveler bag. I mean, if you know Law School Lagos, things have developed now. Then Law School Lagos had only one hostel. So not everybody will get accommodation. So, and it wasn't time to allocate hostel. So I remember I allotted Lagos, not knowing where to go. I think it was my sister who referred me to workplace in Apapa. I went there, stayed for a while, went to stay with a cousin in what's it called? Yanokwaja or Better side and all that. So every morning around 4 o'clock, I would wake up to come to law school. That was my first exposure to Lagos traffic. He would be the one to wake me up because I was so used to not waking up so early. I saw one who grew up in the east, so he woke me up around 4 o'clock. I'll get ready. By 5, I already left the house. I'll get to Balete, take a Balete to law school, the hotel and all that. So subsequently, we had balloting and I was able to secure a hostel. Then we started law school, Lagos life, expensive and all that. Just the same way I survived it undergraduate. At least I was able to pay my law school fee, which is the basic thing. Then you are located in a hostel, you go to school, food, you manage to survive in the process. Then another major challenge was there's what we call law school internship. After studying for 3 months, you are supposed to go and do internship with the court and also a law firm. So we had planned to stay in the hostel and do the internship, but they said another set will be coming in. That was the first time they introduced backlog. There were some other students who would come while we have gone for internship. So because of that, we couldn't stay in the hostel again. They said they refunded us the money we paid. So that the question was, where do you stay for your internship? And I had made up my mind. You see, that is where determination comes in. I made up my mind that I wasn't going to leave Lagos. Some of my friends changed their internship to Enugu, Anambra, and other areas in the east. I did not change my own. So I can't even explain. What I knew is that I found myself doing my internship, both the court and the law firm. I was posted to a firm, Udom and Udom, in Ajisa Diogun, Victoria Island, Lagos. I remember at some point I stayed somewhere at the Imo State Liaison Office. I squatted with someone. I also squatted with someone in Ajah, when Ajah wasn't even developed as much as it was now. Until 6 months, 3 months internship went by, I went back to law school. What am I trying to say? In life, there is always a reason not to succeed. In life, there is always a reason why you did not get to where you want to get to, whether you are rich or you are poor. I'm not saying that those who went back to Enugu to do their internship did not succeed, but I'm talking about how believing in what you want, because what I wanted was to stay in Lagos, to stay back in Lagos. And if I had gone back to Enugu, possibly I could have maybe given up and then start the easier life. Possibly after law school, I moved back to Enugu. There were pressures. My mother would always call me, "Oh, you don't know anybody in Lagos. How we survived?" In fact, let me shock you. While I was coming to law school, my elder brother told me point blank, "Why did you choose Lagos campus?" I said, "Yeah, I intentionally chose it. You have 3 options." I wrote Lagos, Lagos, Lagos. Or I think Lagos, Lagos, Abuja, or something like that. But it was overwhelming that I wanted Lagos, and they posted me in Lagos. The question they asked me was, "Who do you know in Lagos?" He tried to discourage me from coming to Lagos. I won't lie to you. I told him, I've made up my mind. I'm an adult. I was in my early 20s when I came for law school. So why do you want to bother yourself about who I knew in Lagos? So it is not by my own power, but I think what has actually saved me in life is determination. Rugged determination. It's not like I was taking risks with my life, but at least you believe in this. I'm a law student. I want to stay back in Lagos. I want to make a mark, and I believe I will succeed. The days you go hungry or you don't have enough money to meet your needs, you don't go about calling your mother and telling your mother that you're dying. Sometimes my mother will call me and say, "This Lagos, I've heard so much about Lagos, blah, blah, blah. I hope you're fine." You know what happens is that for those of us who come from the eastern part and for some other person, you will see people who have not been to Lagos. They will tell you about Lagos and tell you, "Oh, Lagos is X, Y, Z, bad. Oh, these people, they did this one." Meanwhile, they've not been to Lagos. So some people listen to this. It's also the same way. When you're in Lagos, you want to go to the east. Some people will tell you, "Oh, if you go there, they're cannibal, they'll eat you." But experiential. Why don't you experience life as a young man? So what I will encourage young people to do is not to be afraid of life and not to be drawn back by the vicissitudes of life that you give up easily. You have to make a fight, because it's either you swim or you drown, So I guess that is what I could say about that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is actually inspirational. Thank you so much. How were you able to manage the life that's after law school, NYC, before securing your first job?
Interesting. One point I forgot to mention earlier is that in my lineage, I think I had no person in my immediate lineage had been lawyer before I went to law school or before I chose to study law. Yeah, in my community, we have lawyers, but at least in my direct lineage. So I didn't have anybody I was looking up to. Let's say an uncle who had become lawyer and all that. So talking about NYC, I was posted to Niger State. Niger State is the largest state by landmass in Nigeria. It had, as at then, I think it's still the same case now, 27 local governments. I had my NYC camp at the place where they call Paikoro. That's where they have their orientation camp. So from Lagos, I moved to camp, and it was interesting. Those days, I think my crop of my belief, I did not try to influence where I served. Nigeria was relatively safe then. Now I can't blame anybody who tried to influence, But then people still did it, People would try to come to Lagos, remain in Lagos, but I just blindly, they posted me to Niger State. I accepted it with all happiness. I spent 1 year in Niger State. I only left Niger State for 1 week when I was sick. That I went to Enugu. Otherwise, the other time I was in Niger State. So I enjoyed the rural areas. So I was posted to Ministry of Justice in the capital, Minna. Niger State is unique. That is where you have General Bangida retired, former head of state of Nigeria. Is from Minna. We visited his house. Then Abdul Salam Abubakar, former head of state, is from Minna as well. They live in a place called Hilltop in Minna. So it was interesting. I was serving as a lawyer at the Ministry of Justice, and I had the opportunity to travel to not less than 15 local governments, going to do cases with the DPP, with my superiors. I tell young people, it's about opening up yourself to be used. Let me use that word. Some people tell you, I don't want to be used. The Ministry of Justice were paying us 2,000 naira then as our Alawi. NYSC pays 8,500. So 8,500 plus 2,500 was 10,500. Once we pay the Alawi, I go to Tunga Market, I buy yam, tomato, everything, and we are good for the month. Then once in a while, National Population, this NPI, this immunization will come up. They need corpers to do immunization. We'll embrace it. We wake up early in the morning, go and administer immunization in rural areas. We get paid. And at some point, there was a research that was conducted by the governor on people's perception of governance. So I got introduced by one general who was part of the research team, and I coordinated other people. We got boss, traveled from local government to local government, did the research work, got paid. So you have to explore. You have to be available to take the, even if you feel you are being used, because people don't use you when you don't have anything to offer. So NYSC was fun. NYSC was fun, traveling to the rural areas, seeing different forms of life. Like I said, it's made up of Nupe, Gwari, some Yorubas out there, and then Hausas, and then Fulanis. So learning the culture and all that. So it was nice. So immediately I finished, something interesting. I would like you to pay attention to this. Something interesting happened while we were at Ministry of Justice serving. There was a criminal case that we were handling. Remember, I'm working with the Director of Public Prosecution, who prosecutes people who have been alleged to have committed crime against the state. So there was these politicians who were standing trial for murder, homicide. They alleged that they killed one political thug at a rally during local government election or something. So they were charged for murder. So it was the office of DPP who I was working with that was prosecuting them. The lawyers that were defending the accused persons, there were two lawyers, one senior advocate, equal to SAN, and then Obongakpan, who later became my boss. They will come from Abuja and Lagos to defend the four accused persons, the three accused persons. So when we are done with the case, I will go and greet them, because I knew that I may likely leave Minna to come to Abuja or Lagos, possibly Lagos. So I will greet them. There are lawyers on the opposing side, collect their number or their card. So the case was still on while I was serving. So having collected their card, I called them. The lawyer in Abuja, the one in Lagos. So the one in Lagos worked. I said I should start work. So I actually got my first proper job after NYSC, exactly 1 month after I left camp. After I left Niger State. We left in September 2008. I started work October 2008 in a firm called Ubong Akpan in Ubong Akpan Chambers. The chamber of Ubong Akpan at Ikeja, near Lagoon Hospital, Ikeja. It was from there I got my second job at Foundation Chambers. And as you can see in my biography, the rest was history. So, but one thing about my life is that it has always been, progression, no matter how small it has been, moving from this point to another point, So, talking about NYSC, I tell people it's a very fertile opportunity. Some people while away their NYSC time, maybe some will not participate in some rural activities, CDS. They think it's fun. Some will say, okay, let me leave this place, let me give them my Alawi so they can sign for me. Yes, sometimes that thing you are looking for in Lagos will not run away. I'll give myself an example. I didn't lobby to come back to Lagos immediately. I served within the United States. But I got work in Lagos 1 month after. And it was from that small work I got in Ikeja that I progressed to, the point of working in one of the best law firms in Nigeria, Banwan Igodalo. So there's a learning curve. It's unfortunate that things have changed now, that people don't want to go to Zamfara for obvious reason. Security is bad, and I wouldn't blame anybody. But my NYSC period was quite an interesting, and it gave me the opportunity to think of what I want to do, after NYSC, and I was quite lucky. I got that foundational training 1 month after NYSC, all because I saw the opportunity while I was 7, and I keyed into the opportunity by going to say hello to opposing counsels. In fact, the interesting thing was that the case was still on. When I joined, I switched over to join the other lawyer. The first day we came to court, the judge was the wife of Abdulkarim Abubakar. She was the chief judge then. He said, you this young man, so you have switched to the other side. But because I was just a young lawyer, it's not like I had any secret of the case that I would transfer to the other party. So we all laughed over it. And I joined the lawyer. I would not want the case. The 3 people were discharged and acquitted, which means that the court found that they were not liable. They were not culpable for the murder of the guy who died. And it was an interesting case then. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So that was an insightful story and journey. So moving on, we want you to share with us your journey as an employee. What were the key lessons that you learned about life and your career that are helping you today?
Okay, yeah, I can say boldly that I've had quite an interesting journey from where I did my law school internship, Udom and Udom, a law firm at Ajasa Diogun, Victoria Island. The firm was, owned by 2 brothers, Udom and Udom. I think they were. So one of who became Attorney General of Akwa Ibom State. But 2 of them are senior advocates of Nigeria. So that was my first real experience of law firm. So while I was still at law school, then serving at Ministry of Justice, Mina, I landed my first job at Ubong Akban. A medium-sized law firm, but very serious-minded law firm in Ikeja, where I led commercial and criminal litigation. So that place taught me great. It was a foundation because I'm someone who has so much confidence, with all humility, in court. I do not see that tribunal that I would face that I will not be able to put my thoughts together and marshal my point. That's one of the hallmarks of a litigation lawyer. Being confident before the court. Even though you don't know all the laws, but at least you have to show that confidence that even when you're not perfect, you will still be able to communicate your argument across to the judges. So it taught me patience, because I have to be frank. Your first job or second or third might not be all that you want. There may be challenges. You may face harsh laws. Who may seem harsh, but they are trying to correct you and teach you what you need to learn. And again, you can also face, maybe you feel that what you are being paid is not sufficient to put body and soul together. But that's an interesting point. The places I worked, particularly at my early stages, prepared me for the future. And there was something I heard from someone. He said that you first of all have to learn. And you remove the L. When you remove L from learn, it's earn. So I heard that thing as a young lawyer, and I believed in it. So one thing is to hear about something and believe in it. Unlike what some young people do now. Yes, you want to get everything overnight, which, I won't blame anybody, but at the end of the day, there are some principles that are immutable. If you want to build anything that is lasting, you must have to pay your dues, even you that is here, I know how you started and all that. So that is just the point. So it's been a progressive movement from a medium-sized law firm that was quite serious with what they were doing to a specialized firm where I led commercial and maritime law, and then working in one of the biggest firms in Nigeria, Bangwa Nigodalo, Denton Sekas, and then going in-house to experience the industry, to have some industry experience
and setting up my own. So at the end of the day, what I learned was, I saw people who have done it before me, and that's what I tell young people. Look for mentors, watch people who have done it before. What do they stand for? One of the selling points, if you go to our website or any of our whatever, you see that we have 2 principles: diligence and trust. Some other law firms will tell you they're what's it called, excellent, and some other things. No, we don't really believe in excellence here, and I can defend that, because nothing is actually excellent, maybe except God, for those who believe in God, which I do. I have studied over time. I see that what a professional owes to the client is diligence and trust. Trust with their money, trust with their brief. So if I'm diligent as a lawyer, what diligence means is that I'm hardworking. I will cover all ground. If I'm looking for a legal answer, I will comb all law textbooks and know where to find the law. And I won't give you excuses. I will come if I have to come on Saturday to do your work, and do it well. Because what you think is excellent, another person may find fault in it. So, but when you promise diligence, what it shows is that you are continuously seeking to improve, than saying, okay, I've become excellent. So you begin to rest on your oars. So what we promise, what we sell to clients in this place is diligence and trust. That you can actually trust us, whether it is your secret, whether it's your business secret, whether it is your personal life or whatever. But we defend all manner of people in court, and we handle transactions, so we are privy to your confidential matters and all that. So if you can't trust us, why come to us? So these are things I learned because of the exposure I had in all these firms we have been liberated. All of them are outstanding firms, and they stand for integrity. And they taught me not to compromise, because we had cases of professional misconduct, but I think it's something strange to me, because all the law firms where I've worked, they all stood for integrity and for diligence, and for trust, So that's just the experience, Before I was able to summon the courage, having learned, I said, okay, I was going to set up Azih and Azih, so that all the aggregate of what I've learned, I will bring it. So any lawyer who passes through this firm, I can confidently tell you that you will see different aspects of the places I've worked, what they stand for, and they are world-class law firms and in-house organizations, so coupled with my own belief too. So I combine all these things to set up this firm, so that we can give clients, what we believe in our own terms, and to showcase what we stand for. And that's why I summarize this with diligence and trust, which reflects my life story. You have to be diligent, and people have to trust you. So it's our selling point that nobody can point fingers and say that we misappropriated their funds or that we misled them in giving them, legal advice. So that's just it.
Thank you so much. So moving on to the next question. So I will want you to tell us what inspired you to set up Azih and Azih. I would like to know also the challenges you face when you were setting up Azih and Azih.
Okay, in simple terms, I've always known that I wanted to be a legal practitioner. That's the first one, that I wanted to practice law by working in a firm. So while I was doing that, if you look at my biography, I worked in Ubong Akban, Foundation Chambers, then Tilsekas Law, Bangwani Godalo. That's 4 good law firms of good reputation. I saw how they set up, the story of how they set up, and how they were able to manage the firm. So I told myself, in due course, I'm going to be able to do this. One thing I believed in, I didn't want to jump out early. I didn't want to say, okay, after 3-4 years. Because I tell people, you have to listen to what God is telling you. There are people who will set up after 1 year of God to Barr, and they will succeed. But if that is not where God is leading you, you don't just do it because you need to see your name hung on the shingles, Azih and Azih, just to brag about it. So I knew I was going to. The inspiration was that I've seen other people do it. The 4 law firms where I worked, I've seen that Bangwa and Igodalo was set up by Mr. Bangwa and Igodalo as young men, I think in their early 30s or whatever. So the first firm, Obogapan, the same. He worked with African Balola for over 12 years and set up his own. Denton Seekers, young professionals, young lawyers who came together. So I said, okay, if they can do it and they were successful in it, I think I can replicate that in due course. And my due course was when I left AP Mola Mask. So transmitting from an employee to an employer is never easy. As an employee over time, how many years? Over 10 years.
Like 15 years.
10, 15 years, you at the end of the month you are paid. As an employee, you keep looking for salary increment, increase, and you think at some point you think possibly you have arrived and all that. All of a sudden you set up a practice and nobody's paying you at the end of the month. So I want to tell you, yes, when I left AP Mola Mask as legal counsel, head of legal, I left on August 31st. By 1st of August 31st, 2020, during COVID period, by 1st of September, I started my law practice in my house, in my guest room. I turned it into an office handling desk, had my shelf, books. So just in the morning, I wake up, sit in the office. So I didn't have a promise of clients who said, okay, I'm going to give you X, Y, Z. I just started marketing myself, people knowing that I'm available to do this work and all that. So the inspiration to become an employer was because I believed in myself and I have seen other people do it. And I believe that I can do it in due course, my own due season, because we all have a different due season. I won't tell you, if you ask me the question, when should people leave? I think people should leave when they feel inspired to leave and when they feel they are ready, because there's has to be some reality check so that you don't struggle so much when you leave. Will you face challenges? Yes, because transmitting from an employee to an employer is never an easy. You're going to invest, of course. I mean, you buy books, you buy a desk, the properties here, you can see, then you pay people from being somebody who coming in. Yeah, so you have to make all this plan, and then what kills business in Nigeria is that if you put yourself first, in running a business, you have to understand that it entails investment in terms of material and monetary investment, then knowledge investment. Because when he put up a firm, a professional firm, and say I'm available to service XYZ kind of clients, you must be sure that you know your onions. Yeah, because when you write your briefs to courts, it's in the public. If you're not doing well, people will know. You can't hide yourself. You write letters, you go to court, you face transactions. If you're not doing it well, clients will run away. So I tell people you have to prepare. Prepare mentally to weather the storm, and then if you can put some money aside, money is never enough. So money shouldn't really be a determinant factor, but at least you have to have some reasonable income that you put aside, at least that can sustain you for, let's say, some will say 6 months, some will say 3 months, some will say 1 year. But you know what, Nigeria is inflation, so because you have other things that you need to do. So I think I absorbed the shock well, because I was determined to make something for myself, and transmitting from receiving salary to paying salary. By the grace of God, it wasn't such a big deal to me, because I think it was the mental preparation and knowing that I wasn't setting up the practice to begin to to just satiate my own ego. Yes, knowing that I put people first, and I make no pretenses about it. People who work with me, I put them first, and I also put the business first in terms of reinvesting in the business. It's more of managing people. You have to also have that skill, because if you set up a shop and you're the one that shouts at people up and down, or you don't know how to manage your staff, I can tell you for free here. We set up a rule, we don't shout in this office, no matter what happens, even if heaven is fallen, even if somebody has made a very bad mistake. Yes, I can call the person inside here and talk hard on the person, but we don't talk down on people. Like two different things. Somebody makes a mistake, you start calling names. throwing papers up and down. It's somehow the natural reaction when you allow your natural person to show. But when you see that, what do you achieve? The time you use in shouting, calling names, you can actually use it to solve the problem. Let's get this sorted out because it's a client problem. I mean, it's a client matter that we need to sort out or whatever, even if it's an internal issue. So we made that rule that we have to be civil here. No matter what it is that is the problem with you and the colleague, don't raise your voice. I think we have succeeded in that for 3 years and counting, almost 4 years. I don't think anybody has ever raised voice at anybody here, So, and the people I work with know my standard, You don't set one rule for yourself and another for themselves. So, when I'm coming in as the principal counsel, people don't start adjusting themselves. They are doing what they are doing when I'm. If they are discussing when I come in, they are discussing because they know that you know what time to do your work. And when you're done doing your work, you go home on time. So we place emphasis on work-life balance, and make sure that things work well. They know that we appreciate them coming to work every day. It's not easy to show up. Lagos traffic, fuel scarcity here. So what I've learned in my few years of running this practice is that you must appreciate people who work for you. If you appreciate them and they know that they are sacrificing to come to work, they get paid, but can you ever pay someone enough for all that they do? And they also learn in the process. So you see them as associates in progress and not just mere employees. So you see that things will, gradually take shape. But above all, what we commit to is continuous investment in knowledge and in infrastructure and books and all that, just to be able to serve our clients. So there will be challenges, of course, because you may not know where the next brief will come. So all you do is to keep reaching out, networking, and positioning yourself. Because one thing is to get the brief, another thing is to have the expertise to execute the brief. Yeah. So far so good. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Then in a world when people preach specialization and you are having this different portfolio and you are managing them well, so far from what I have seen, you are good in what you do. So how have you been able to manage this expertise and delivering remarkably well at them?
Yes, I believe so much in expertise because what you mentioned is just a few areas of law. There are other areas where we don't do, even when you bring it to us. The best we could do is to seek for collaboration with people who do it more. In Nigeria, the emphasis on expertise is not so pronounced. Lawyers still do virtually everything. But because of my background, working in some of the specialized law firms, at some point I began to narrow my practice down to, like most people know me as a maritime shipping lawyer. But whatever you see listed there are things that I have done in the course of where I've worked. So I tell people in our website, there's no single statement we make in our website that is untrue or just flamboyant, flowery words to attract clients, then we'll start scrambling to do the work. So shipping law, commercial litigation, employment law, family law. I think that when you come to the office and we open our dockets, you see that we have cases that we have handled well in this respect. So, I mean, I could say that over time I try to narrow down to maybe 4 main areas, which you have mentioned, or 5. So there are other areas which we may do 1 or 2 things for, but these are what we are known for. And whatever you see there, yes, if Nigerian market is so large to concentrate only on shipping law, we will be fine with that. But Nigerian market had not developed to that extent where a lawyer would say, I am strictly a maritime lawyer. In fact, in the developed world, you see that even under maritime law, a lawyer can choose a subset of maritime law, and that is the only thing they do. If you go to US, you see employment lawyers, they will tell you, I only represent employees. Some other time will say, I only represent employers. You see family law, they will tell you, I only represent women who are looking for divorce, or I only represent if you have been sued, if you have been taken to court for divorce, I'll represent you. Some tell you I do criminal law, but I can only defend you. I mean, I do this aspect, so to speak. I'm a criminal defense lawyer because the state prosecutes. Once you have been charged to court, call me. I don't do any other thing. So, but what actually happens is that our market has not yet developed to the point where some lawyers will not say I'm strictly. So that's why you see some lawyers will have some several proficiencies. But my own case, I can tell you for free, is that it's a function of exposure. So the areas you see that we cover are areas that we have actually been exposed to, and we've actually dropped deep in that aspect. That if you come into this firm and you have issues regarding this area, we will do that. But above all, professionalism, what's it called? Specialization is something you cannot overlook. And that is why at least some people will know me. Some people know me as a maritime lawyer because they know I've devoted a lot of time from 2009 to date doing maritime law. Employment law, I've devoted some years doing that. Commercial litigation. I started with criminal litigation as well, but at some point I had to slow down because I can't be everywhere. Yeah, in fact, my first major case that I was exposed to was a murder trial, a high-profile murder trial in Niger State. That exposed me to criminal litigation, to defend those who have been charged with criminal, act. So if someone comes today and say EFCC wants to charge me to court, if I had the time, I could defend that person because I understand that area of the law, but it doesn't form part of our core area because it doesn't come every day, So those are the dynamics.
Tell us about a scenario, a challenging scenario in this organization that tested everything about you, that made you feel like this is the end of it, and how you were able to overcome it and bounce back stronger.
Okay, well, what I could say is that a scenario. I don't want to go into details because of the call names or because of some professional consideration, but I wouldn't say it made us to say this is the end of it or whatever, but it was actually a big challenge. The matter is still ongoing in court, so that's why I wouldn't give details, but I could just tell you that it had to do with a matter that we are representing a client in court, and the lawyer on the other side, we had some issues, that borders on, people try to overstep their boundary because of what the client wanted them to achieve. So, that's the much I could say, because I'm just struggling not to give particular details so that the people involved will not, because the MBA intervened and they saw that we were actually blameless in the whole process. So it tested our professional patience, when such allegation was made, all because somebody was desperate to achieve something for a client. So it puts you on the spot because you are also defending your own client, and they went beyond what the law allowed to, and we were at the center of it, that if we were not vigilant, possibly our client would have been shortchanged and it will all bounce back on us. So that was a very big challenge. Then the other ones are just regular operational challenges. I remember when we moved into this building, we had this understanding that the facility will pay for a service charge that the diesel, when there's no power from national grid, that the manager of the property will put on the generator and all that to power it. So, before you know it, your price of diesel was increased, and so there was erratic power then. So, as a lawyer, we need to run AC in the office. We need to do our work. We don't sell clothes here that you can say, okay, let's open the windows. Customers who need clothes will buy. Well, yeah, with the 10 clients come in, or we need to work with our laptops and all that. So there was that forth and back about, what time should you put on the gen to service the office, and it actually impacted in our practice, and it was quite challenging without going into the details. But thank God we were able to surmount the problem. At some point, everybody have to make alternative power arrangement for them. So the problem was solved. It just boils down to some of the things you would face as a business owner in Nigeria, whether you like it or not. You face the issue of diesel, you face the issue of fuel, you can use fuel generator and all that. You face the issue of some other things. There may be, landlords increasing rent, which you didn't budget for, and you won't blame them because inflation is catching up with everything. So sometimes you just be like, what am I into? What did I get myself into? But when you remember where you're coming from and where you want to go, somehow you get that grace to fly above all those challenges. Yeah, but have we been tested? We've actually been tested. And I think we count it all joy because those are the things that shape you. Because there's some things you will see, that whatever comes your way, that this business must survive and that we must keep marching on because it's too late to throw in the towel. So that's what I could say. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So the question is, how do you balance your professional and personal life and stay motivated for success?
Yes. As a busy professional, particularly for this legal profession, some lawyers tend to just focus only on law. Because law is a very jealous profession. You are supposed to give your whole life to it, But what saved me was that as a child, I was a chorister in the church. So that gave me that liking for music. So I always find a safe place in music, Maybe I used to belong to a choir here in Lagos, but at some point, because of the demands of work, I've not really been active. But once in a while, I maybe go to where I could sing, maybe karaoke and all that, Then dancing as well, if you want to get my attention, just play good music, and I always either I nod my head or I move my body, once in a while, Then growing up, I think played a good part of it because I grew up in an environment where sports was a big deal. In Nigerian, in Kalago, we had rock football, we had a standard pitch, and people compete with, can you play football? Can you run 100 meters? What's your position in class and all that? We didn't compete with material things those days. It was on what can you do? Can you play football? Can you lift weights? And all this healthy competition. What can you do for yourself? So I've not lost touch. I've not lost touch. The other day I went to NBA football tournament, and even with wearing my native attire, I tossed some football, and people were still all shocked. I said, "Oh, so you could play?" I said, "Yes, I could still toss, but I've lost my stamina." So it has a. I play snooker as well. I learned snooker when I was in law school. I play snooker and I sing. Sometimes in the family we sing, and I come from a family where few of my brothers and sisters know how to sing, and you also know my wife, and they have a background in music and all that. So sometimes we turn the family into a small choir and sing some songs just to relieve the stress of work and feel happy. So it plays a very good part that you should have a hobby. I advise all young stars, don't be so soaked in your day career that you don't have a place to unwind. There's this thing some of us have. If it's football you want to play, if it's watching football, if it's singing, if it's helping in community, you can be a volunteer service. Yeah, just do it, but let your life not be centered around your profession. There should be a time to zone off. Any professional who doesn't have a time to zone off from your regular work, you find out that as you approach some age in life, you start feeling the brunt of the professional life. You must have a way of unwinding and zoning off from your regular work. It helps a lot,
So please, can you share with us how your commitment to service has impacted your life, humanity, and your career?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll call it giving back to the society and also service. Yes. I will always link it to my growing up, because I grew up in a very close knit community at Nigerian. We had we had a parish then, St. Charles Parish, So growing up, service had always been part of my life. I was an altar boy, what we call Masaba. I was in children's choir. At some point, was a choir master. I was in scout. Yeah, I was a scout as a boy. I was a scout. I was a cop, then later became a scout. And then man of order, the Catholic version of man of war, so something like that. Then later as an adult or as a young man, I joined the choir. So that's informed the idea of service, something that you do that you don't get reward for, So in school, I continued with that. In law school, volunteer service. So talking about Night of St. John, yes, I became a member last year, Night of St. John historically are people who, in the olden days, who actually went to war in defense of the church, during the jihad, when Christianity was challenged, the existence of Christianity. So they actually fought physical wars. But nowadays, nobody fights wars. It's just people who are called upon by the church to support the church, to promote the faith of the church, people who are committed to making sure that the church is protected, the church principles and ethos are promoted. And that entails a lot of service, because in Night of St. John, they said we have the three T's: time, talent, and treasure. That's the fulcrum upon which Night of St. John International is built. And that was one of the attractions. They say you have to serve God with that time. We have our meetings like every other month. You must, even if it's wedding that you want to attend, you have to shell this for that meeting. That meeting period is sacrosanct. So you serve God with your time, talent. If you're a lawyer, you serve like a lawyer, a medical doctor, engineer. Then treasure, your money you must drop your money. So your resources, organizing quiz, organizing, helping the needy, charity, So charity is at the center of what we do at Night of St. John International, and some other things I belong to. I was the secretary of a Catholic men organization at our parish that you know very well, Our Lady of Perpetual Help, Victoria Island. I was secretary for almost 7 years, before I handed over. Not because I wanted to be secretary for 7 years, but somehow they kept asking me to continue and all that, because it's a unique parish. People don't vie for positions. People are elected or actually asked to, please, we want you to serve, and you accept. And even when you say, okay, I am done serving, and let me go and rest, they will encourage you to serve more. So what that shows you is that whatever you think you are, whoever you think you are in life, whatever resources you think you have, are not entirely yours. Is correct. There's this song that says, nothing I have is truly mine. I mean, for anybody, if you understand that whatever you have, be it your intellect, be it your time and your resources, it's not really yours. Because, if you die today, you are leaving it for other people that you don't even know how they're going to manage it. So why is it under your control? Why don't you, use it? And our time is limited. Nobody lives here forever. So it's a principle I've keyed into, giving back. I'm also heavy on student support. One of the things I'm known for is encouraging young lawyers, law students, and even undergraduates, to do their best, supporting them with my time and resources. And so, all these things don't have anything to do with whether you have more than any other person. No, it's just that commitment that this is what I have to do, even when it is painful to commit your resources to such things. Because as a student, I knew what I went through. Not just because of what I went through, but I just feel that life is better when people learn from their experiences. So that's why when you see me on LinkedIn, I don't just come and talk about my wins. I also tell them where I failed. I also tell them the challenges I had, the mistakes I made as a young lawyer, that shaped me for good or for bad, So giving back to the society, as I can call it, remains an essential
aspect of the life of every professional or any reasonable human being for that matter. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. From what you said, it shows that you are committed to humanity first. So, with what you know now, let's say you are given another opportunity to start life all over again, but with the knowledge you have now. How will you approach life? Starting from as far as you can remember, let's say primary school. How will you do things differently to ensure that you move faster, more efficient, more productive, and more resourceful?
Honestly, I largely don't have regrets, but if you ask me, what I could say is that, of course, I'll still do the same thing I did, but what I could say is that there were times when I doubted my capability to become what I want to become. If I'm given another opportunity, I would never for one day doubt my capability. Yeah, and maybe procrastination in taking steps that you should take. Do you understand? Yes, I've done fairly well for myself, but if I'm given another bite in life, the times where I was busy calculating whether am I good enough, can it be done, I would have actually struck, when the iron was hottest. I won't really say I've not really lost anything due to procrastination, but I'm just trying to dovetail to your question. What would I have done? What would I have done differently? Just to say, I would have moved a lot faster in terms of believing in myself. Because one thing about believing in yourself is that you believe in yourself, but sometimes there's always that imposter syndrome. That's what it's called. You are doing well, you're progressing, but still within you, are you sure what I'm doing is good enough? So these are time wasted. I shouldn't even crop in your eye. Like when it comes, you brush it off and it will keep running. So those moments of insecurity or doubts, I think that is what I would have said I would have done better. But give or take, I give myself some credit that amidst all challenges, I was still able to keep my head up and rise beyond those challenges. Yes.
Great.
It often comes from a fear of failure.
Yeah.
Or if you understand the dynamics of failure, you see that in life you can't, because we fail in many different ways. So when people are like, I don't want to put myself on a platform. What if I go for this and I don't get it? And so what? I don't get it. And then you move to the next one. But some people will forever brood over what they were not able to achieve. That it blinds every other opportunity that lies ahead of them. So I think that is an area that, particularly for young people, to say that that fear of failure, you must kill it. That when you fail, you can still try again. Because if you don't try, there's no way you know whether you win or lose. So if because of fear of failure, you don't want to fail, you say you're not going to try. What it means is that so many things will pass you by, and you live a life without a story. And what I call an uneventful life. Let me be careful. No, I don't want to. No. Let them do it. I just want to be safe. So you pass through life without what's it called, making any impact. That's it. Because sometimes your failure could be impact. Because there are many people that will learn from your failure. It's an impact. A young man because so this person did and failed. So that means, and he later succeeded in life. Then this is my inspiration. But when you fold your arms, I want to stay in your house, don't disturb me, I don't want to take any risk. Like someone said, if you don't want to come to work because you're afraid that third mainland may collapse and we all fall inside bridge, you could be in your house and the trailer will come around and say, I'll kill you. So you must take risk. Calculated, positive risk. It's as simple as life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's move on to the next question. But something stood out for. I saw a picture of a trans woman, and I think that should be your mom. And I saw a picture of your family, and that's our work actually. It shows how you are committed to family. Yeah. So the next question is, how do you manage your busy schedule and balancing family?
That's answer. I think the answer is my wife, because
I close late most times. I leave home early most times. Of late, I've been leaving a bit because I'm on holiday now, and I've adjusted my schedule so I don't leave so early. I give all the credit to my wife. I can tell you that because as a busy professional, who you marry plays a very key role in balancing things out. Because there are two aspects of my life: my work, my family, and between them, my family comes first. So I'm not always at home. I come to work. My wife is not a career woman. But when you marry someone who is able to, accommodate her own career as well as taking care of the home front, and who at some point will even make the sacrifice. Okay, if I'm going to stop work for it sometimes so the children can grow a bit, also we'll give them a balanced life, because we made a pact that we'll never allow pursuit of money or whatever to affect how we raise our children. So beyond any accolades that may be given to me for running a practice or being a lawyer, so to speak, one of the things I cherish a lot is that I have a family that is intact, and that we have time for the family, for our children, and that balancing role my wife has played a very key role in that, because she's holding the home front intact, when I am out of here. And her work, even her professional work, of course, has always been a way of, okay, she's a professional teacher. She tries to, at least she gets home before me. Yes. She could have aspired to become, maybe to do some other things which she has capacity of, that may bringing her home at night. And because of pursuit of money, and she could say, okay, let's get a nanny who will stay with the children, and the children are raised by a nanny. So that's why I give all accolades to her, that while I'm out here, she's been able to manage her professional life and lay emphasis on the home, such that we're still together as a family unit, and raising the kids and doing everything. We'll work together so that no one suffers. We'll have to balance everything at the end of the day. So I don't joke with weekends. Anybody who knows me, weekends I try to wake up late, play with the children, spend time with them. So my weekends are sacrosanct to me. And some days I deliberately don't go to work on time. When I look at my schedule, if the children are on holiday, even if it's 1 hour you give them before you leave, it goes a long way. But at the end of the day, none should suffer. In fact, you are being a good lawyer. It's also a function of you having a good family. People don't understand that. There are things I learned from my children. There are things I use in court, to say in court, that I learned from interaction with my children indirectly. Yes, examples I gave in court. So they all come together. Nobody should give you that excuse that, oh, I'm a busy lawyer, because of that I don't have time for my family. You must find a way to create time. Otherwise, sooner or later you will pay for it, and the cost is quite heavy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. From your biography, you said you have done courses in different countries, and I remember recently you were at Johannesburg for some conferences.
Yes, conference, employment and labor lawyer.
Okay. My question is, how have you been able to marry development, self-development, and your career?
So talking about self-development, it is something that has always worked for me, because when you leave law school, you just know the theories. So it's a continuous self-development, attending courses that may come at a cost. But I tell lawyers, you must put your money where your mouth is. So it's never easy, because that money may be money you use to buy a car, or change your car, or buy a better, there are many things you can use money to do. But the bottom line is that, what is your scale of preference as a professional? Because when people say professional, just like you now, if you're a professional, okay, I want to hire a professional photographer or a professional whatever, or even a mechanic. We're all professionals. What the people count, the word professional is that this is your profession, this is what you do, and you do it well. So sometimes people underrate it. People don't understand the essence. And there's no way you can be good at what you are doing if the world is using this technology that I don't know about it, and you say you're a professional. So as a lawyer, yes, lawyers by default we naturally read, but there are lawyers who don't read, And any lawyer who don't read, you become rustic, and you start giving obsolete opinions and all that. So it's a struggle to continuously good education or continuous self-improvement and development, so that you will continuously stay at the top of your game. So, well, thank God. I mean, we may not be the best, but what we are committed to is to keep improving, so that the quality of service we render to our clients, will dovetail with international best practices. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What advice can you give to people out there, let's say aspiring lawyers and entrepreneurs who are facing challenges in trying to cultivate resilience, grit, and dedication to achieve their goals, and also young people who are still finding it's difficult to navigate life? What advice can you give to this setup?
Yeah, very well. So, first of all, I want particularly young people to realize that it is very normal for you to be confused as to what you want to do in life, because it's a very key challenge that young people face. It is absolutely normal for you not to know where you're heading to. Like this time you come to, as a young man, you want to be everything. You want to be a lawyer, you want to be a musician, you want to be an artist, all together at the same time, and you are afraid of what the future holds. First of all, believe in yourself, because it is when you believe in yourself that you will be able to say, okay, out of all these options, let me pursue this one. What I see in most young people is lack of confidence and excuses. Believe in yourself, shun excuses. I can tell you for free, Moffed, there are 1,000,001 reasons why you shouldn't come to this office today. There's fuel scarcity. You could give 1 million. You could have been ready today, but I know you would have come. So if you believe in yourself and you don't give excuses, excuses are very, particularly lame excuses. There's always a reason why something shouldn't be done. If you are fixed your wedding and it's raining, you won't say because it's raining, you won't go to a wedding. So there will always be a reason to give an excuse. So if young people will live beyond that, to brace or to swim against the tide, to say, I'm going to get this thing done, it goes a long way. And then, this may sound cliche, but honesty and integrity, no matter how bad things get in the world, no matter how bad communities don't respect those who maybe make clean money, they just want you to have money no matter where it comes from. But all these things have always been with us. It's just like it has amplified. So, but there are some laws that are immutable. If you're not honest, if you don't have integrity, yeah, you may succeed in certain communities, but the globally accepted standard is that as a businessman or as a young person who is aspiring to make something out of his life, you have to have focus and you have to have your hands clean. What I mean hands clean, that people have to trust you and trust in what you are offering to the world. So I would say, believe in yourself. Don't give excuses. Have integrity. Oh yes, have integrity, because it all boils down to making money. For some people, you make money the wrong way, the world still recognizes that there is a difference between good and bad. It's as simple as that. So you choose. That's why you see some people who have maybe soiled their hands. Later in life, they try to do some things to legitimize what they have done wrong. To maybe give alms to the poor or set up charity. But if the foundation is not strong, what can you do?
Thank you so much for staying to the end. If you learned something from this story, don't let it end here. Subscribe to this channel, engage, comment, like, and share this story to reach more people so that we can make positive impacts together in our society. See you in our next story.